I'm here now on this cruise. I saved some money, blah, blah, blah. You can smooth it over to sound good. But when you have like a real reflection and you look back, like it asked me, what was the greatest thing to happen to you last year? And I couldn't give an answer. What could be more motivating than a glass of Tropicana orange juice in the morning? Achieving your goals, making money, de stressing? Okay, maybe they're not as good as orange juice, but they are still pretty nice. Welcome to the Orange Juice Podcast, where you'll get motivating and action-provoking content without all the pulp. Your host, me, Reggie Davis, brings orange juice to inspire the world with stories and ideas, both personal and shared, to help you peel back your fears and squeeze out your best self. Welcome to the Orange Juice Podcast. As I said in my little intro, on today's episode, I'm going to talk to you about what's been going on for the past year. What's going to be new this year and what to look forward to. So first things first, where have I been? Very short and simply, working. And then when I wasn't working, I was procrastinating. And I guess that's something that is really interesting for me to be talking about on a motivational based podcast, but it's also a little relatable, isn't it? We start something, get some momentum, life happens, and then we kind of shift from that. Stuff happens, and that's going to occur. Something that I've been seeing a lot is that the greats kind of find a way to stick to the basics. And one of the most basics there is consistency. I guess I'm kind of skipping ahead of myself, but 90% of podcasters actually quit after episode 1. And then 90% of those after that quit after 20 episodes. So basically, the top 1% of podcasters in the world upload 21 episodes. So that's my goal this year. I want to be at 21 episodes by June, which is possible. I don't want to take incredibly long to do so. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep pumping out content. I'm going to try to repurpose a lot of my videos here so that they go on other platforms with my podcast episodes. And I hope that if you actually make it to my podcast, that you get something from it. My belief in my podcast is that everyone can be successful. Everyone can achieve great things. And even if you don't innately have what other people would consider great aspirations, what's important to you is important. And if you have a desire, no matter how small or how big, if you just want to go on vacation this year, because you haven't. If you want to finish a book, because you've never done that, and many people haven't outside of school. If you want to have a better relationship with your kids, whatever you want to do, I think that everybody should have the opportunity to do it. And we'll spend so much time in our life saying all the things that we want to do, and then we just don't. And that kind of brings me back to, what has changed. Because I look at last year, and last year, it's so funny because I really was thinking about the podcast. I kept thinking a month would pass. Dang, I haven't posted in a month. Shoot, well, okay, this stuff is going on. Don't worry about that. Dang, I haven't posted. After a while, it becomes more normal. Rather than feeling like, oh, it sucks that I haven't posted in a while, I should post soon. This feels like, well, geez, it's been 4 months now. It's been 5 months now. It almost becomes easier, and I think that's negative self-talk, but it becomes easier to not do anything after a while. So I hope this message serves to everyone as just like a shock yourself back. Just do it. It doesn't have to be great. You don't have to be great to get started. You just have to get started to be great. Zig Ziglar, everybody says that quote. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about, the most pivotal thing is I want to talk about my year in review. So reviewing 2023, there's this little document that I get. My aunt is an extremely accomplished goal-setting coach. And one thing she encouraged me to do last year was to do a year in review. And on that review, it asks you a bunch of questions. It's going to ask you what influenced you the most? TV, friends, blah, blah, blah. It asks you what's the greatest thing you accomplished last year. It asks you what do you think about... Well, it asks you what are some mistakes? What are things that are issues you faced? And so I did it last year, And you're supposed to like keep it on your wall, like keep it in front of you. You're supposed to do that with your goals. But transparently, I did not. And so this year already has started. Now my birthday is coming up in a couple of days. So I took a birthday cruise earlier this year. And a little bit before that cruise, I talked to my aunt. She encouraged me to look at that review. And then she encouraged me to think about my one for this year. And I have to tell you, while I was on my cruise, I was kind of devastated because I was thinking the whole time about how my year last year went and how I can say like, oh yeah, certain day, like you can smooth over anything to make it sound good. Like, yeah, I was still in business. I did some good things. I'm here now on this cruise. I saved some money, blah, blah, blah. You can smooth it over to sound good. But when you have like a real reflection and you look back, like it asked me, what was the greatest thing to happen to you last year? And I couldn't give an answer. When I was reading the questions that were saying, oh, well, what did you think about, like, what are some issues you were facing? I got to be honest with you. I actually, like, some of those issues were, like, literally the same when I looked at that. And I was like, wow, these are the issues that I stated at the beginning of 2023 that I had in 2022. And then my year passed, and I'm having the exact same issues. I can look at certain things and say, wow, I had a good year because I went to the gym more than I ever have, which is true. I went 50 times last year. But my goal was 160 workouts. And so I was like, oh yeah, I was further than I've ever been, but I was nowhere near where I wanted to be. And I got to be honest with you. I don't feel like 30 is old. I feel like I'm young. I feel good. Most people look at me, they wouldn't assume I'm turning 30. Most people think I'm young. But I don't want my life to pass me by. I don't want my time to just amount to nothing. Like, a year is a long time in the grand scheme of things. And my year could have been so much more better if I was focused. If I I have goals, I set them down, I talk about achieving them because my aunt does, and I believe in that. And I would just be lying to myself if I said, oh, you had a great year last year. No, I didn't. And it was like, like you're seeing me talking about it if you're seeing me, and then like I kind of have a smile as I'm talking about it, but like I was like sad. Like that was hard. I would never think a paper would make me that upset since like college. But like I was hurt. It really sucks to kind of look back on your year and realize you didn't get anything from it. My Instagram is Reggie P. Davis. So if you would like a copy of the year in review that I did personally, I'll send you a copy of it. Reggie P. Davis, follow me on Instagram. But I want you to do a year in review because that was probably the most motivational thing I have ever done in my life. I have never been able to look back and say, wow, that was a year. And it was like, it feels fine. Like you can go through it and it doesn't feel like, wow, you're actively not really accomplishing anything. But when you look back and you can't say, well, yeah, this is the greatest thing that happened to me. And I'm not just talking about like, if someone had it, like the first thing that comes to my mind, let's say my sister had a child, for example. That would have been like, oh man, like the greatest thing that happened to me is I'm an uncle now. But that was going to happen. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that happens. But what is the greatest thing that I achieved? That's how I looked at that. What is the greatest thing that I kind of set out for? There's still a bunch of things that I wanted. I talked about making $1 million a couple times. I talked about how I was going to accomplish writing this book. I talked about how I was going to accomplish making this course. And none of those things have happened yet. And so, I could rant about that for a while. But that motivation that you get from that is like literally unparalleled, the most inspirational thing I've ever done. This year, so since I got back from my cruise, I got back on the 13th. Today's the 19th, and I've been to the gym 5 times now. Last year, I've never gone to the gym 5 times in a row. Diet and like all the things I want, fitness-wise, that's like, I feel like that's easy. Just looking at, like, it was kind of easy to kind of look at everything and be like, I want my life to completely change. I do not want to like have the same experience where 2025 comes and I look back and I'm like, I didn't do nothing. I have this like thing that my gym does where they give you like a full body scan. It's called InBody, and it measures like your fat, your weight, your like how much it measures everything, but like really critically. And I'm looking at it because I did another one literally today actually, and I'm looking at it between now and February 28th. I've lost like what, like 4 pounds? Well, not even. I've lost like 3 pounds of fat in my body, and that's great, but it's not like amazing. I exercise, but I didn't change my diet last year. And so this year it's like total change. I've gone to the gym 5 times and I feel great. I've started making my first podcast episode and I'm on my way to 21. And I'm motivated. I feel like this is going to be a different year because I'm determined for it to be a better year. One piece of advice I'd like to give you guys also in terms of how you're going to achieve your goals easier this year. Alex Hormozy was talking about, the idea of instant gratification and how most of the most successful people in the world can wait a long time to be satisfied. And I think that was really my main problem. I think that I was really good at being able to tell myself yes to everything. Like, I was pretty small growing up, like weight wise, even without exercising. I always had a little 4-pack. Like, I kept a decent stature coming up, but my parents were not the type of parents that like, oh, if I was hungry, that meant we were going to go get food. Like, we were driving along the street. Oh, can we go to McDonald's? No. You know what I mean? Like, that was easy. So that was like no control there. But getting older, you have money. I'm hungry. Yeah, I'm going to stop at Wawa. Yeah, I'm going to just get a quick burger or something like that. And you just keep doing that. And you just keep doing it. I can have water later. You know what I mean? Like, my parents were always like, oh, well, you can have juice after you have some water. It's like those little things compound. And obviously you have a different metabolism, but like, and I'm just talking about food. I mean, shoot, you can do that with anything. Friends text you like, yo, get on the game. It's 10 o'clock. And I'm like, okay, sure. Or they text you right when you're going to sleep and it's 11:30. Yeah, sure. I was consistently going to sleep around like 2 o'clock in the morning for a while. And I have like my own business, so it's like some days that wouldn't affect me. Some days it would. Some days I was doing that on like work nights. And that's just the truth. And it's kind of dumb, but it's the truth. And like, just like how I was saying about things compounding, that stuff like that, like going to sleep late, would tie into so many other issues I was having. Like not going to the gym. I've said I've gone to the gym 5 times. 4 or 5 times. I went to the gym at 6 a.m. last year. I did not go to the gym at 6 a.m. once. Like I've never made it earlier than that. I usually make it at the end of the day. If I did make it, and now it's like pivotal. Like, I'm trying to make the gym the first thing I do, so I never put it away. And I'm trying to just give myself less room to like waste time. Like, I'm going to do more things that I'm intentional about. And that's really what I'm going to encourage you all to do too. Look at your last year and just think about it. And do you want this year to be like that? Apparently on last Friday or Sunday, I don't know which one it is. Last Sunday, I believe, was Quitter Sunday, where that's when most people have already given up on their New Year's resolutions. Excuse me. So last Sunday, I believe it was, and it's the 19th now. So what does that mean? By the 14th day of the year, that's usually when people are like, yeah, it's over for me. And I don't think I'm sure I made it further than 14 days last year. But this year, I'm intending to go all the way. I really want this to be my best year yet. And that's something I think about constantly. And so I would encourage you to do the same. As for me in this podcast, please continue to tune in if you're looking for some motivation, if you're looking to talk. I definitely think I'm going to start with my gaming streams. I was trying to look for a good way to tie that into the business. I think I'm going to just give advice almost like a talk show as I'm doing that. So I'll have a Google Voice number that people can call into and we can chat there. But in the meantime, please, just stay tuned. hold me accountable. I would love to, as the community grows, I would love to kind of have discords and stuff like that where the community can hold each other accountable. The Orange Juice Podcast audience. I'm still looking for a name for everyone. But for the OJ audience, I would love for us to be the most successful and motivational audience there is. I want all you guys to be encouraged. I want you guys to be encouraging each other. And I see that for us. So I want to keep moving towards that direction. And I thank you for listening to my first episode back. Strongly encouraging you guys to be successful and make this your best year yet. Reggie out.